give you a demonstration now. Shakespeare, for the most part, is performed in the received pronunciation, the beautiful accent of English that you're all supposed to speak, because everybody understands it. But nobody actually speaks it anymore. That film just now of the boy, that's the accent of most English speakers now. But not the accent of Shakespeare. So, the opening of Henry V, first in received pronunciation, and then in Shakespeare's accent, which we call original pronunciation. When I do it, also watch what happens to my body. Hell for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling sea. Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. Off, 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 off. But it is an accent like that, isn't it? It's got that beauty. So now, in original pronunciation. Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling sea. Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. It's quite exciting, isn't it? Listening to an accent that's 400 years old. It's amazing what it does. It's faster, isn't it, for the first instance? Assume the port of Mars, assume the port of Mars. When they performed it at the Shakespeare's Globe a few years ago, they were performing Romeo and Juliet, and they did it in received pronunciation for the most part, and then for one weekend they performed it in original pronunciation. And when Romeo and Juliet first meet, they share a sonnet whilst they're dancing. And they choreograph this beautiful dance to this beautiful sonnet so that by the time they finished speaking, they finished dancing. When they performed it in original pronunciation, they finished the speech and they still had 2 minutes of dancing left. So it's faster, it's quicker. But notice what it did to me. Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention and a kingdom. I'm sort of dead from the neck down. I'm just standing here and this beautiful sound is coming out of my voice. I remember when I first went to see Shakespeare with my father and mother years ago, and I said, Dad, this is great, but why aren't they moving? Why are they standing so stock still? With the original pronunciation accent, notice that my voice dropped as well as my body. Oh, for a muse of fire. I'm using my lower register. My body and voice are connected. I'm hunkered down. We would call it an earthier accent as opposed to the airy accent, airy.